Okay.
I think we have waivers from everybody. So let's see.
Well, they basically signed a waiver when they got it.
Right. But I'd like to be careful about that.
Francesco may want to see this, so he can't make the meeting. Our exchange student from Italy.
Maybe it'll give him some ideas then for future projects for scholarships in Italy then as well.
You never know.
Yeah.
So you just got back to Mongolia.
Yeah, I just got here last night around 10 p.m. I flew in from Kazakhstan, and from Kazakhstan I come from Kyrgyzstan where I live now. So I crossed the border and hung out there for 2 or 3 days to check out Almaty, and then from Kazakhstan I came here. Yeah, but happy to be back. I was just here in February for Mongolia Rotary Day, and they had a huge event, huge, massive, and a bunch of our students went to it. We learned about Rotaract and Rotary and Interact and all these things, which was great. And then talked about peace building and the Peace Fellowship. And I will be working. I've talked a lot with their Rotaract DDR, their deputy district representative. There's 2 of them, the highest ranking Rotaractors in Mongolia. Ozbilig is his name, and I'm working with him. He wants to apply next year, so we're going to start working on his applications and IELTS and all that type of stuff. So hopefully we'll get a Mongolian Rotary Peace Fellow, and it no longer will be a white American male that is a Mongolia expert. That will have a Mongolian be the Mongolia expert. So we'll see. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was in Washington.
That was here in Mongolia in February. I flew in from Kyrgyzstan to attend that just for the week. It was good. It was really good.
So we
And Baigomal went to that. Oh, sorry, you're gonna ring the bell. I'll stop.
You will notice we have a beautiful new bell because I broke the old one. At the Parkland,
just a piece, not the
breakfast.
whole bell, just the
top.
the top.
So you want to hold that up because it's a beautiful new
Yes,
top.
see this piece.
Oh, indeed.
So,
It's nice and new.
very nice.
I'm sorry, that's not compliant.
I'm sorry, that's what came from Russell Hampton.
No wonder, because they're not compliant.
Yeah, well, that's the story, Marlene.
They're selling off the old stuff.
We'll ask Marlene to begin for us.
Okay, let's get that up. Okay. On Memorial Day, which is coming up this weekend, we memorialize the men and women who have served our country in the ultimate act of service above self. Many Americans can name someone they know who died in service of their country, whether it was generations past or current. I remember the morning I woke up my daughter early for school to tell her that a schoolmate of hers had been killed protecting his platoon by throwing himself on top of an IED in Iraq.
Wow.
This weekend, you may purchase some poppies from a veteran. The red poppy is a nationally recognized symbol of sacrifice worn by Americans since World War I. It reminds us of the sacrifices made by our veterans while protecting our freedoms. Why poppies? In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. John McCrae, the author of that poem, which I learned in 7th grade, was a doctor in World War I. It's a melancholy reminder that wars may come and go, but still the poppies grow. If you gather for Memorial Day celebrations this weekend, consider talking about family members and friends who have served and who have passed, and remember all those who are still serving at home and around the world for the safety of all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. All right, I don't see Mr. Ron Coleman. So let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, our 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And is it beneficial to all concerned? So I have some sad news for you this morning. Unfortunately, on Monday, Bob Noggle, one of our honorary members and a long time past wonderful representative of Rotarian values, passed. Ernie, would you like to say anything about him? Because you saw him just last week, I believe. I know Ernie had, Ernie Ball had a weekly breakfast with Bob, so I know they went to see him last week. So as I learn more about the services for Bob, I will provide that information to all of us so that we can honor him the way that he should be honored. Okay, so on to some happier news. We have a couple of wonderful guests this morning, so I'll introduce Renee, who is going to be a member of our club, and we're so excited to have Renee join us. Renee, would you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited and I feel very honored. My name is Renee Wiggins, and I am the founder of Youth and Teen Renovations. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we work with at-risk youth and teens in Allentown. So we've been in business since 2020. So we're still going forward. Thank you.
Okay, we're very excited to have Renee join us. We also have another new member, Sean. Sean, would you like to introduce yourself? I'm sorry, he's not officially inducted until the end of the month. So.
Yep. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So Sean Roth, local to Allentown my whole life, work in finance, and just excited to get involved with Rotary.
And we're excited to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so we've had a number of different service projects that people have been involved with in the last couple of weeks. So I do have our service hours sheet. So if you have any more hours to add to the May sheet, would you please let me know so I can finish this and give it to Herb. When Herb comes back from Singapore, he's going to tabulate all the hours for this year. So those people who have, I'm not sure what the magic number is with Herb, but he will be providing some Paul Harris awards for that. So those who have been involved in service, would you just wave at us a little bit? Okay, so we have things going on in the garden. We have things going on at the Earl Adams Park. And we have an event this weekend where we will be working at Mayfair. So all this stuff that you see behind me, this is all the stuff that we're going to take to Mayfair. It's a 3-day cultural event held at Cedar Crest College. So we will be having a booth there and hopefully getting out in the community to tell our story. So if you're still willing to, or if you haven't signed up yet and you'd like to sign up for Mayfair to join us, please let me know. A few more announcements before we get to Nick introducing his guests. Michelle, would you tell us about the Iron Pigs event?
Sure, we had a fantastic time at the Iron Pigs. We worked the concession stand, we worked the cash register, and it was Len and Ernie Bliss and myself. We all worked the same one. We had little younger kids that were runners for us. They got all the food, and we did the cash registers, and we got paid for it. So they're making a donation to the club for our efforts that night. But it was a good time, and we thought it was going to get rained out, and it didn't. So it all worked out good.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being the lead on that. Diana has asked me to make an announcement for her. Diana and Herb are on their way to Singapore to the international conference. So the Impact Club is partnering with Community Bike Works for the Youth Bike Summit, and that's June 14th through the 16th. And she is going to send a link out if you would like to help volunteer for the event. And also she's asked if anybody has any bikes that they could lend for the weekend. I know, Ernie, you said you had a bike that you could lend. Gary has a bike. So again, Diana will be providing more information. They are still in need of bikes. So that's a good thing. We have been invited to the Allentown Rotary Club's changeover. So if you're interested in going to that, you just go to their website and sign on. The cost is $50 and it will be held at Cedar Crest College. It's an evening event on the 29th. So does anybody have any other announcements? Okay, then I'll ask Ernie Bliss to talk with us for a few minutes about the Field of Honor project.
Sure. This is actually a very appropriate time to talk about this project, as Memorial Day is this weekend. And we intend to
We
do
don't have a
this
camera
for
on this
Memorial
phone.
Day.
On this computer. That's all right.
We intend to do this for Memorial Day next year. And the Field of Honor project is very simply a field of American flags laid out in rows and columns, much like Arlington National Cemetery, in reference to the fact that we have people in
Oh,
Arlington.
honey, I can't, because it's the name of the computer.
And what we'd like to do is have all of those flags sponsored by people, companies, or other individuals in reference to military veterans, police, fire, EMS, doctors, nurses, their family members, or any other person or thing that they feel appropriate, as a mechanism to bring people in the community together under the idea that the American flag should be a uniting force in the world. And we'd like to we're putting together a team, and I'm drawing up committee members now so that we can start moving this project forward. We want to plant 800 American flags. The total value of this is expected to be $15,000 back to Allentown Rotary to help fund some of the other work that we do. But it will take a tremendous number of people. I have a team of 10 that will lead a group, a larger group, in order to accomplish this and do it well. So we'll have the local police, the local fire. We'll have friends of mine in the DOD can help me get a flyover. I have skydivers who want to jump into the event. We'll connect with scouts and schools, and we'll have contests, and there will be prizes. And I think it'll be a really, really good event, but I will need a lot of people helping out. So you'll hear more shortly, and we'll see how we can make this thing move forward. If there are questions, I guess now is the time, but that's what we have going on.
Okay. I think it's going to be a wonderful project. As Ernie said, we will need a lot of help to do this, and we will begin planning probably in the next week, right after Mayfair.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Nick to introduce all of his guests.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me join. Obviously, my folks are here. Many of you have seen them before, but thanks, Mom and Dad, for joining, as always. The top. And then we also have Baikal Ma, her name on there, Baikal FOM. She's joining. She'll be our translator for tonight. We are hoping to get 2 of our students to join the call within the next 20 minutes. 2 of the students from Holt Province. The other students are actually traveling back to Holt Province and Seleng Province tonight, so they can't jump on the call. But Baikal Ma is fantastic. She is our grant coordinator for Friends of Mongolia. And so she manages small grants. So we have 5 or 6 Peace Corps volunteers that we are sponsoring here in Mongolia right now. And Baikal Ma has run the whole committee on how we select it, how we select the different projects that they're putting forward, how are we managing the funds, which projects are we choosing, and getting involved with all the reporting requirements for that. So she had time tonight to join us. And so she'll, if we get our other students joining in, hopefully in the next 15 minutes or so, she'll be here to help translate and answer questions if you guys have any for them. So thank you.
Just a little bit of background for those who are new to our club. Nick was our Interact Club president when he was in high school. And he went on from there to an illustrious career, and he then became our Peace Fellow. So he was awarded the opportunity to go to Australia and study to obtain a master's degree in peace and conflict management. From there, he is finishing another master's degree currently in Central Asian Studies. So he will be finishing up in December, we hope. But Nick, tell the group a little bit about Mongolia 2121. They may not know the background of that.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to do that later on or what. So I do apologize. Oh, we have one of our students joining now. Great. 2121 is a new project. So I'll try and make it short. Friends of Mongolia is a 501c3 also. It was started back in 1999 officially, but 2000 is when it was approved. And it was started by returned Peace Corps volunteers who came back from Mongolia, wanted to stay involved with Mongolia and what's happening in the communities here. So about 3 years ago, Baikamal, myself, and a couple others inherited this NGO, and we looked at it and we recognized that this is the perfect mixture for Rotarians, Peace Corps, and Friends of Mongolia, right? So all three organizations could really collaborate and work well together. We have really similar missions, but our goal is to strengthen American-Mongolian relations. There's 21 provinces in Mongolia, and Friends of Mongolia has managed a scholarship project or scholarship program since 2005. And we recognize that there's a large need for more students to go to college. And college in the United States costs an exorbitant amount of money, as my mom and dad know. And as many of you know as well. But here in Mongolia, it's a lot cheaper. At most, it's about $2,000 a year. And so our money travels further here in Mongolia. And so what we wanted to do was create a new project called Mongolia 2121, where we find 21 American Rotary clubs, each to align with a province in Mongolia, to learn about that province, to learn about the different diversities, to learn about their economies, to learn about what do they struggle with, what are the things they export and import, and so on, excuse me. And this was to really get the foot in the door for getting Americans to start caring, the average American, not politicians, to start caring about what's happening in Mongolia. And then not only start caring, but to start learning about what's happening. So in the different provinces, now that COVID is over, the Peace Corps volunteers will soon be returning to the outer provinces. Right now, they've been based in Ulaanbaatar because of COVID requirements, or Peace Corps requirements learned from COVID, which is everyone needs to be able to be evacuated within a certain amount of time. But now that the Peace Corps volunteers are going back out, this is the perfect opportunity for Rotary clubs that care about a province, right, that have a student they're sponsoring to study in Mongolia, to then also learn about what the Peace Corps volunteers are doing, because they have to do projects, they have to do volunteer work, they have to promote volunteerism. So how can we align all three of these organizations to really truly improve the quality of life for others? And so we have Baigoma on the call. We also have Oyun Tulks, one of our students, on the call, and we can introduce and talk a little bit more with her later. But that's basically the rundown for it. So thank you.
So we will be holding a Mongolia 2121 night on June the 15th here at our home, similar to what we did last year. So more information to come about that shortly. So please mark that date on your calendar. It's going to be a wonderful evening of fellowship. And Nick will zoom in from God knows where he will be on June 15th, but he will zoom in to tell us more about the students. So it's been an exciting year, choosing the students and then finding out more about them during the year and watching them be very successful.
Gwen,
Yes.
Ernie Ball, can I jump in here?
Yes.
I couldn't unmute, so I'm sorry that I couldn't recognize you when you called on me. But for Bob Noggle, the services are Tuesday the 28th.
Okay.
2:30 to 4 will be visitation, and 4 o'clock will be the funeral, and that will be at Ebenezer Church in New Tripoli. And he was cremated, so that's the information that I got this morning.
Okay, thank you, Ernie. Thank you, Ernie. So I'll make sure that I get that out to everybody. Okay. All right, Nick, we'll let you take over.
Okay, sounds great. How much time do you want to give me?
You have the rest of the meeting.
Okay, so I'll be quick and I'll turn it over to Baigoma and Oyun Tulks because they're the exciting ones. But basically, the update, right? So that was just the background of where we are. What we're at right now is we have 2 more clubs that have joined us. So we have a total of 4 clubs that have joined this network. So the Allentown West, of course, the Rotary Club of Oakdale, California joined last year, and they're sponsoring a student from Seleng province. They have been phenomenal. That student has actually joined Rotaract officially. She participated in a couple service projects here, a bunch of meetings, and then she's officially joined. And that's exactly what we're hoping for these students, is to get their exposure to Rotaract. Because one of the things that a lot of students will experience coming from the countryside into the capital is if they don't have family members or they don't have close friends here yet, it can be hard moving from the countryside, right? You know, imagine moving from Fogelsville into like New York City. It can be a little tough. And so what we want to do is create that network of support for these students. And they get it from Friends of Mongolia, but they can also obviously get it from Rotaract and Rotary. And so we've had some of our students attend a bunch of their projects. I think Oyuntogs joined one Secret Santa project in December, where they delivered goods to children in childcare facilities. And then Onzol from Selang province has joined. So we had 2 more clubs this past year join. One is Rotary Club of Denver, Colorado. Denver is the only official sister city with Mongolia, the only approved one so far. That's Denver and Ulaanbaatar. So they have lots of projects going on between Mongolia and the United States. So that was a natural fit. We had a bunch of friends there, so they joined us. And then one that randomly out of the blue got connected with us is from Blacksburg, Virginia, Rotary Club of Blacksburg. And they have really expressed their desire to join. And what I really love about this club, I love about all the clubs, of course, but this club in particular, they know nothing about Mongolia, and they were open from the start. They said, we don't know anything. Nick, please, you know, help us learn, right? And for them to commit to a project, you know, about $2,000 a year for the next 4 or 6 years, depending on the program, without knowing much about Mongolia in the first place, I think it's so admirable, right? There's a desire to learn, and that there's a commitment to this project already, which is fantastic. And so it's starting to slowly grow, which is what we want. So we just signed, they're about to send MOUs back to us, and we'll get their money, thankfully. And then in July, we should have it, and we'll be able to transfer everything to Mongolia. We'll be announcing this week all of the scholarship advertisements. So basically what happens is we have everything in English, and then we translate everything into Mongolian. Thanks, Baigamal, for that type of stuff. And then we push it out to the provinces, to the different schools, the different networks that we have there, the different libraries. If there's a Peace Corps volunteer there, we ask them to share it as much as possible. And then students will have time to draft their essays. In July, we'll receive all the essays from the students, and then Baigamal and the rest of the Mongolian team will sit down and read over hundreds of applications and make the extremely tough, I'm so thankful I don't have to do it myself, but make the extremely tough decisions of which students are we going to interview, and then which students are we going to select after that. The scholarships are based on a few principles, right? Of course, the Mongolia 2121 is about the 4-way test, right? But it's really about community service, leadership potential, and, you know, are they maintaining a good GPA? Now, when we say leadership potential, what I want to mention here is it isn't just leadership within the community. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are dealing with different types of family situations. For example, you know, Mongolia suffers a lot from alcoholism, right? So it might be a single parent home, and maybe it's the oldest child that's in the family, right? That's applying. He or she doesn't have the time to get involved in different projects outside of her home because she's helping to raise her siblings or his siblings when the mom is at work, right? Or the father's at work. So we try to take all of these different things into account when we're reading through these essays, is that we want to make sure that we're trying to be as fair and as equitable and as inclusive as possible. If we just wanted to go with the quote unquote most competitive students, we would just stick with Ulaanbaatar and look at the students who go to private academies, right? Private institutes, and just, yep, these are the ones. But we don't necessarily want to only promote that. We want to make sure that we are getting a good cross section of the community here, because everyone deserves the opportunity to learn and to improve themselves, then go back to their community and improve it as well. So that's one of the scholarship programs that we offer, is Mongolia 2121. That one is obviously still growing. We have 2 other scholarships, and that is Matthew Gervin. Matthew Gervin was an American who worked for UNICEF And unfortunately, in 2001, he died in a helicopter accident when he was responding to a natural disaster. His family created a foundation in his honor, and they asked an organization in Idaho to manage a scholarship program for Mongolian students, but they had no connection to Mongolia. So I think they transferred it over to us in 2005, 2006, and ever since we offer scholarships to 10 students. Originally, it was only for boys and for students from the countryside, because in Mongolia, there's a reverse education gap with gender, right? About 70% of college graduates here are women. And so their family wanted to make sure that boys from the countryside had the opportunity to go to school as well. Excuse me. And then Mongolia 2121. And then the third one we just started as well is the Leadership Scholarship. And the Leadership Scholarship is for students based in and around the capital. Half of the country live in the capital right now, and we were neglecting to support students from the capital. And these students are typically students from what the gyur districts, which you can imagine as the projects in Mongolia. They live in gyurs, small homes on the outskirts of the city. They don't necessarily have the same access to resources that everyone else does. And we're trying to make sure that we're supporting them just because students and children have no control over where their parents choose to live, right? And so we want to make sure that we're trying to be, again, as fair and as equitable to all, right? While still honoring the requirements of the donors. And so it's growing. It's growing a lot. When we first took over about 3 years ago, we had 9 students that we were supporting. We're now at 18. And so that's thanks to you guys. That's thanks to the other Rotary clubs. And that's thanks to major donors that have come in. That folks like Baigalma have really, taken over this organization and are headed in the right direction. And I can't thank them enough. I can't thank you enough for this support. Back to what's happening now. We're here in Mongolia, right? This summer we have our leadership retreat coming up, and the leadership retreat is where we'll all sit down around a table. Maybe we'll argue, hopefully not, and we'll talk about what's going to happen in the next year and what can we do to improve our support for students. In the past, Friends of Mongolia basically just offered tuition support to students and said, here's your money, keep your GPA, that's it. We recognize that our students need more than that. There's a bigger need here than just financial support. The need, and Baigalma knows this firsthand as well, is greater, and that's support, right? And it comes in many different ways. I know we had one student who came to us and said that they don't have a computer, right? They're doing all their homework on a cell phone. That's hard to do in college. You can't give presentations on a cell phone in college. And so when we started digging into this more, we realized that 9 of our students don't have laptops. And so we contacted my brother-in-law who works for Marriott, and Marriott gets rid of their computers, their laptops once a year, and they're going to donate the laptops. So they should be here in September. They're getting shipped over. We had another student who was experiencing some extreme bullying and was kicked out of her dorm in wintertime. And one of our officers was aware of what was happening. She was keen enough to pick up on, some of the subtle changes and recognize that there was an issue. And so we were able to get her into a dorm, and she's all set. We have another student right now that needs to have surgery, and their family can't afford the surgery. It's not an elective surgery; it's a necessary surgery. And so we're able to help out. It's not super expensive. We don't need to fly them to Korea or to Singapore or to Thailand. Thankfully, the surgery can be done here, but we're able to provide support for that. In great ways, we have a student this year. I think he's a junior, he might be a senior, Baigalma, you can correct me, but he started an NGO called the Med Plus program, and he's studying to become a medical doctor. And he organized a massive program for over hundreds of students, pulling in some of the top level doctors in Mongolia to give a mentorship program for Mongolian medical students. And this has been going on for 3 months now. And so we have fantastic, ideas coming from a brilliant generation. And then we also have needs from some of our other students. And Friends of Mongolia is there to really try and help as much as we can to see them succeed. And we can't do that without you. So we'll have our leadership retreat. You asked June 15th. That's where I'm going to be. So I will wake up early before Baigalma and the rest of the team, hopefully, and I'll jump on the call. And many of you know Ariel Wyckoff. Ariel Wyckoff, one of our great friends, he's also our board chair. Has not in years. I think it's been 4 or 5 years, just before COVID. And he'll be coming out to Mongolia for the leadership retreat with us. And he'll get to meet the team. He'll get to meet a bunch of the students who are sticking around. This is election season in Mongolia. June 28th is the elections. And so a lot of students are going back to the countryside so they can vote, but also to participate in election campaigns and earn some money for their families. And so we'll have some of the students with us out of the leadership retreat. They can engage with us. We'll be there. We want them to get to know us better so they can trust us more. And then we just want to have some fun with them while we're also dealing with the business of how do we manage a nonprofit and with all volunteers for the next year. But I will jump on the call, don't worry, for June 15th or June 16th, I guess my time. Baigamo, I have talked a ton, but I'll turn it over to you to introduce Oyuntugs. And Oyuntugs, if you are able to, it'd be great if you could turn your camera on so these lovely people could see who they're sponsoring. That would be fantastic.
So мэдээ сонсож байна.
Hi.
Ярьчихлаа. Окей.
Жоохон ярьж
Жоохон. За, эхлээд жоохон англиар ярьчих. За. Sorry.
Hello everyone. So my name is Oyuntugs and I'm a part of 2121 project, and it's really pleasure to meet you all.
Great, thank you, Oyuntugs. Can you just tell us a little bit about your first year or your year here in UB, your program, and then kind of what your plans are this summer?
So it's like the first year, so it was quite hard and it was quite hard to adapt. But I think I did a great job because my family was really supportive of me, and they helped me through many things throughout the year, and especially because of the help that you guys gave me, that took up a lot of things from our shoulders, like financially. So they were really able to provide me with other things, like you mentioned, the laptop and the dormitory. So that was that. And I think the biggest thing I learned is that going to university, you really begin to live on your own. So it's like everything is up to you. So I think it's really important to өөртөө ингэж юу ах чи хэлээ.
Юу. Хэл ананад орчилж. Өөртөө итгэлтэй ах гэж.
Өөр дээрээ ингэ найдах.
So it's very important to her. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I didn't, but Nick already introduced me. So it's a first year. She's far away from the home, so that's why it's a kind of very good experience to learn. And this is how she also learned to be far away from family and be responsible and be herself at the big city. So it's kind of very good experience for her. So that she is it.
And also, I'm currently at my hometown. I just finished school and I came straight home. Yeah. So I am planning to spend my summer in my hometown, and yeah, and there's a lager, like
so it's a
you
camping.
can spend it. Yeah. So
it's kind of in Hovd аймаг чи аймгийн төв дээр гэдэг те. So in Hovd аймаг there has a the river is close with the аймаг center. So in the аймаг that river kind of like a beach. Can I call it beach? Like a
yeah.
So then the river, there has a kind of like a summer camp for AMIC centers people. So they will build own gear, the Mongolian traditional gear. So they will build the gear in the beach, and they will stay at
that gear in near the river because in the summertime it's very hot in Mongolia.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
hard. You can see me literally sweating right now.
Yes, that's kind of.
Yeah.
So she's appreciate that you guys very help her to have to say to grow up far away from the hometown. So now she's quite confident to stay in a big city by herself. So that's also she said. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Bagamal. Thank you so much, Oyuntoks. And if you don't remember, take a look at the map of Mongolia, and you'll see Hoft is the furthest province from the capital. And so for her to make that trip, did you go by bus, Oyuntoks?
Yeah, plane here is pretty expensive, so I had to take a bus, and you have to travel 24 hours actually. Like, it's not sleeping bus. You just have to sit there for 24 hours. But it was a good trip, yeah, because I was going home and I was really excited. Yeah.
Good. Good. I'm sure your family was excited to see you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope to make a trip out to Holt province maybe in July or early August. And so you'll have to let me know where your camp is and check it out. Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to it. That sounds so good.
Yeah. Does anyone, I don't want to talk too much. Does anyone have any questions for Baigamal or for
Yeah.
Oyuntoks?
Yeah, feel free
About her
that.
studies, what is she studying?
I'm studying finance management, yeah, at the University of Finance and Economics. And I think it's a really interesting major because both of my parents are also like, their major is related to finance. One is an economist, they called it, and the other one is finance manager. So they've been actually pretty helpful of me, my studies, some of my studies.
Тэр хоёр ч хоёулаа нөгөө юуних те төрийн албаагч те.
Тий.
But even though the professionals sounds high for about her parents, but both of them working in as a civil servant. So in general, civil servant salary isn't that much higher compared to other countries. So even like comparing to companies, employer salary, and comparing to other sectors, people. So, but civil servant is quite respectful position, but however, the salary isn't that much higher. So that's that.
Yeah.
Should I tell the salary? Because I can't.
It's okay. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's okay.
No, it's okay.
Typically, civil servants will often, if they're not very high up in the chain, a lot of civil servants will also work a second job. Most here in UB, a lot of civil servants are actually taxi cab drivers on the weekends. They'll try and find something else to help them make money because it's not enough money. The director, I know the director for the National Rehabilitation Center here in UB, and he works as a taxi cab driver on the weekends just to try and supplement. Yeah, so it's not enough. Bottom line.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. What other questions do you guys have? I don't want to talk too much.
Does the dorm have facilities where they can cook, or does she have to eat out, or?
I have to cook by myself. So there's no like kitchen in the dorm. It's only one room, and I have to share room with my roommate, and we will cook like for each other. And there's only one room, and there's no kitchen, so we have to buy everything from refrigerator to like oven, like everything we have to buy by ourselves.
And this is the normal dormitory for National University of Mongolia. Okay. I'll be paying a visit this summer.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother, and he's actually graduating university this year. Actually, like right now, because it's spring, so he's graduating. I don't have any other siblings.
I just want to make a comment. I'm very impressed with your English. When I heard we had a translator, I was expecting that we wouldn't be hearing from you much in English. So you're doing a great job. And would you say that your English improved a lot during university studies, or did you come in speaking pretty well?
Oh, I already speak pretty well, but it's not pretty well. I don't think it's, but yeah, I think in university, like English is not that important right now, as for right now. So I didn't study it that much, and I got an IELTS score. So I just нөгөө дүнгээ дүүцүүлэхий чинь юу хэлээ?
Дүүцэлнэ гэдэг нь болохоор зөвхөн дүнгээд дэвшлүүлнэ гэж юу?
Гэхдээ одоо ингээд IELTS-ийн онотой болохоор хичээл үзэхгүй шууд дүүцүүлээд оноогоо авчих гэсэн.
Okay. Because she has an IELTS score, and then some of the subjects she doesn't necessarily to get the exam, because, for example, we have an English class or Russian class, etc. So if she choose the English class, and then she don't necessarily to get the exam. So kind of like equalite, since she has a score, and then it's kind of like pass that subject, but only one, 손익이 өндөр гэж байгаа тийм.
Зөвхөн англи хэлтэй л.
So she has just one IELTS score sometimes help her. So she's a kind of learning in English, and then I think her goal is to get the more higher score in the IELTS, because that's the generally all Mongolian student children really want, because that's the one of chance or opportunity to study in abroad or study in more higher level degree or something. So that's important for us.
So
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Almost for the rest of my life.
So Melanie has a question.
Yeah, so welcome, first of all. Thank you for coming on to the Zoom call. I don't know what time it is where you are. I think it's 12, 13 hours different, Nick. Okay, yeah. So Nick, thank you also for being there. I'm just curious. I'm from a very small town in the United States, and now I live in a bigger area. What's been sort of the three kind of greatest things that you've learned in the last year, and what are the kind of the three struggles? Like, I know for me, when I go home now, not as many people like kind of understand where I'm coming from now that I live in a bigger city. So I was just curious, like how's your reception back in your village and you adjusting to life back at home?
All right. Three things that I learned. I think the one is that, as I mentioned, like I really learned to be on my own. Like I cook for myself, I do everything for myself. And so that's the one. And the next one is, I think, I really like took my, how do I say it? Like there was no limit for me. Like I'd be studying for like until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Like I wasn't like, all right, that's enough. I was never like that. I was always trying, because I know that that's the best way to study, I think. And I never did it back in here in high school. And I think it's really up to me to learn things in high school. Like teachers tell you what to do, like exactly what to do. And in high school, in university, there's nothing like that. Teachers won't give it. Yeah. So, and the last thing is, I think I learned that how important my family is to me. because I missed them so much, and I used to think about them like every single day, and they were my only like inspiration to study and to go on what I'm doing. So I really understand very well, because back in here I was like, I was with them every day, so I wasn't really caring about them. And when I went there, it was really important for me that they were doing well. They were healthy. I think that was really, yeah, I realized it. And the three struggles are, one is, of course, my hometown is a really small town. So going to the capital and living with a lot of people, it was really hard because the traffic jam and many other things like pollution, they were really hard for me to adapt first time. And second one is, I'm not that socially active person. I was not socially active person, so I didn't have many friends, or I didn't go out and do like volunteer jobs or something like that. And I started to do that at my school. And as Nick mentioned, I went to the Little Hair project, and that was really fun. And that was let's just go to the struggle to something else. So struggle was that I tried to be more social, but it was hard. Yeah, that's the struggle. And because of I wasn't doing much volunteer work in here, it was hard to do a lot of things in UB too, in the capital too. And the last one is, this one is not that the big, but I learned to live with my roommate. She is like, in here, everyone is like, when I was in high school, everyone was like my brother and my dad and mom. They were really like kind to me and like did everything that I wanted, because I'm the only girl and the youngest child. But in there, it was really hard because I need to understand that person. She needs to understand me. So there was a bit of a complication, but we get through that. Yeah, but it took some time to understand each other and understand each other's like living habits. How do you say that? Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, William Tuggs. It's very helpful for us to understand a little bit more of what you're going through. And I know, as we mentioned before, coming from the countryside to the capital, not only must you learn how to deal with, your roommate or your classmates, but there's also a lot of negativity towards, oh, you're not from UB, you're not from the city, you don't understand how it works here. And so we really want to be there for you. And everyone on this call right now, even if it's their first time on this call, I can promise you that everyone on this call right now cares about you and cares about all of our students. And that, to me, is what we want to convey, is that even though you've never met us, right? Or you met me, you met Ball, of course, but you've never met everyone here. But these are the people on this call right now who are supporting you. And they're sending you good wishes. Even my mom and dad, right? I know that they're sending you good wishes and good prayers and hoping that you're successful. And so, yes, your blood family is in Holt province, but you have a much larger family of people that care about you as well. So thank you so much for making time to join us. I know it's hot there and it's uncomfortable, but thank you.
So we've had a lot of good comments in the chat. A couple of people who needed to leave to go to work, they have commented how impressed they are. They're just really surprised. It's not what was expected. So I don't know what they did expect, but I know I've read some of your writing, and seeing you, not just in a photograph, but in person, is just amazing for us. So keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be unbelievably successful and happy. And as you learn these lessons, especially learning to live with your roommate, those are really valuable lessons. So those, I know you're going to do well academically, but the social things and the learning to live together and how to understand other people, those are really important things. Those are what really are going to make you successful. It's not just having your name on a certificate or a diploma. It's being able to actually live every day with people you may not agree with, people you may not understand. So those are really important life lessons. So just keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy your summer, enjoy the time by the river, and think a little bit. Think about where you want to go next. What do you want to do next? Will you have the same roommate next year? Maybe you have a different one. So again, how will you work with that roommate? So I think those are some of the lessons that we learn in Rotary too. We may not agree with each other. And I always say, you know, we have conflict, and we have personal conflict, and we have task conflict. And the task conflict is good. Nick, for your group, that's good to have passion and to have discussion and not to agree on something. We do that in our teams all the time. You know, how did you come up with that idea? That's not a good idea, but we work through it. So those things are really important, and that's what's going to make you successful, not just your name on the certificate. So thank you for what you're doing. Do we have any other questions for our guests?
I just had one comment, and I think Gwen, you said it so well. But just so you know, our student knows that we want you to be successful in whatever way you define success. So we don't have any pressure on what we think you need to do. We just want you to, you know, to do the things that you enjoy doing and do them well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for understanding me and talking to me. It was really a pleasure to meet you. Can I say? And I just feel really close to you because like I talked to you, and Friends of Mongolia were like connecting us, but now like talking like directly to you, it brings so much closeness. And I'm so happy that I did come to this call and talk to you.
We're happy that you're here.
So let's give a round of applause for our translator and for our student and for Nick. You know, this wouldn't be possible without Nick coming with this idea. And of course, all of us being happy to support Nick because he does so much for us. Having these opportunities is amazing. It really is.
Thank you. One of these days, I'll be back there to plant the trees and move the soil for you, Gail. I'll be able to contribute to your club a bit more as well, or our club. But I did want to say that you know, this is the first step. I think building the relationships, whether it's through writing, whether it's through a Zoom call now. You know, in many ways, thank God for technology. In other ways, not so much, but in many ways, thank you. And for you guys to have access to Oyuntogs, or to have access to the students in Mongolia, you know, on the other side of the world, who live a very different lifestyle than how we live, but to recognize the similarities in our humanity, I think is really important. And so this is the first step. A second thing, and I'm very happy to announce it, and this came because of Christy and the Rotary Club of Blacksburg, Virginia, when they had said that they didn't know anything about Mongolia. Our team has put together a newsletter for the average American to learn about Mongolia. It's called the Mongolia Focus, and we just released our first one. I think last week we just announced it.
Yes.
And so that is, it's 20 pages, but there's lots of photos, and it's not like heavy reading, 20 pages. And there's a bunch of different contributors to it, Mongolians and Americans. And we are involving students from the School of International Relations to talk about American-Mongolian relations. We're involving anthropologists to talk about nomadism. We involved a current Peace Corps volunteer, a former Peace Corps volunteer, to talk about their perspectives. And then the next one that we're working on, I don't know if Baikamal knows this yet, the next one we're working on is Mongolia's role in peace building. And really the goal here as you guys know, is to attract Rotarians, and every Rotarian loves peace building. And so we want to put this newsletter together to show how Mongolia and Mongolians are contributing to stabilizing this region. This region, you have China, Russia, both Koreas, Japan, the United States, and you could include Taiwan. And so Mongolia, the only non-nuclear country, how are they involved, right, in this? How are they stabilizing? And so if you guys are bored and need something to read, please take a look at both our website or the Facebook page, and consider reading through it. And then eventually maybe you'll see some writing from Oyuntugs, right? She'll write, I don't know, she'll write about the economy, about the Mongolian economy in Hof province, right? Something like that in the future. And we really just want to give voices. We want to help elevate voices from this area that people just don't know much about. And we as Americans has so much to learn, right? From Baigamal, from Oyuntugs, and the rest of our team. And so to come here and to come with open ears, I think is really important.
So we do have a website, mongolia2121.org. And if anybody wants a copy of the recent Focus on Mongolia, I have it. So if you want a copy of it, just let me know and I can forward one. And that will give you the link to FOM, so you can join FOM. It's not an expensive undertaking, but there's lots of good information that Nick puts out from the Friends of Mongolia. So it's always lots of good reading material, lots of unbelievably beautiful photographs. So there's other ways to learn about Mongolia. Of course, we'd love to see all of our students on a Zoom call, but maybe one by one we can do that. So.
Is the focus going to be up on the 2121 site to download?
I don't see why not. That's a good idea. I hadn't brought it up to Peter or to Gwen and Gary yet, but I think why not? It's on the Friends of Mongolia website and it's on our Facebook page, but I think we could easily add it to the Mongolia 2121 page too. Yeah. I hadn't thought to ask that, so thank you.
I think we talked about that, a long time ago as far as one of the strategies, but now that it's been released, I think we can do that. Okay. We do have information about the students there as well. And for those of you who don't know, Peter, who's on the call, is our webmaster. So he takes care of the Mongolia 2121 as well as all the other brochures and things that Nick needs. So
and our other websites as well.
And our other websites, but in specifically talking about Mongolia. So
a huge thanks to Peter and to both of you as well for managing all that. And I did also want to echo Gwen's sentiment of thanking Baigamal for translating. Oyuntugs was fantastic with English, but for someone to be able to translate that quickly, to hear what's being said and to do that simultaneously, that takes so much skill. And as I fail at learning Russian, I respect you so much more at Baigamal for being able to do that with English and Mongolian.
So Nick,
thank you so much.
Nick, can you give us a quick summary of where you're going to be for the next couple months?
Yes, for the next 3 months, I'll be in Mongolia, heaven on earth, as I like to say. And then after that, I'll probably be back in Kyrgyzstan in August, starting my last semester of my second master's degree. And then my master's degree, my thesis is going to be about Mongolia's role in peace building in the region, right? So one chapter will be on Mongolia and non-nuclear proliferation, Mongolia and North Korea relations, and then Mongolia and peacekeeping operations with the UN. And so I'll have 2 supervisors, one Mongolian here, an expert, and then one back in Kyrgyzstan from my university to look at the structure and the formatting and all that type of stuff. But I'll be here for the next 3 months and then most likely back in Kyrgyzstan for the fall semester and might bounce back and forth between the two a little bit.
And I know your parents, as well as all of us, are very, very happy that you are where you are right now.
I'm very happy to be here too. Yes, I've been in worse places, and this one is very comfortable. Yep.
Thank you, everyone. And nice to meet you, all of you.
Don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, now it's almost like a summertime, and I will very welcome to maybe one day travel to Mongolia. Have you ever been in Mongolia, you guys?
We have not. We have.
Oh,
not.
come on. We are very interesting country. So
Nick is persuading us every
us.
time he talks to us. He's persuading us, trying to get us.
I'm trying.
Can I say, would you guys like to see it? I live in a fourth floor apartment so I can show you my province.
Ah,
Absolutely. So while she's preparing to show us her apartment, I'll just remind you that our next meeting is June the 12th. Oh, here we go. Oh, my goodness.
It's the hot province. Yeah. Hot that's matter. That's the, yeah.
It is hot.
It's hot now. Yeah.
oh,
Hot that's smart. That's
interesting.
okay.
I don't know if she's pointing stuff out. I don't know if she's knows that she's muted or not, but
Oh, sorry. There's mountains surrounding around the town. There's like mountain all over the town, all around the town. So it's really beautiful to see sun setting because it will go down into the mountain and it looks so beautiful. And there is my high school. It's really close to my home. Yeah. And there's kids playing. It's a small town. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right, so our next meeting, as I said, is June the 12th. And unfortunately, that is going to be a Zoom. There's a presidential event at Cedar Crest that day, so we're not allowed on campus. So it will be an exciting Zoom though, because Diana's going to talk to us about the Impact Club and all the things that they're up to. So I would encourage you to Zoom in again. And then we will have our induction on June 26th. And that's going to be a fabulous experience because we're going to induct Renee and Sean, as well as our new president. Our new president will be will be Chris. Chris is in Croatia this week, so he's visiting his exchange student who's graduating. So that's why he's not here. So we have all these connections throughout the world. So anybody have any last minute requests or comments?
I just want to thank you, Gwen and Gary, for being so supportive of this project and really like getting behind it and supporting Nick in his dreams because you guys do a great job too.
Well, we encourage you all come and visit us on June the 15th. It'll be a wonderful evening of fellowship. We're praying for no rain, but regardless, we'll have a great time. So, all right. So we'll conclude with our motto. One prophet.
One prophet most to serve the best.
And if any of the Mayfair volunteers want to stay on, I'll just give you a quick overview of what we have for Mayfair. Thanks, Nick. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah.
So here's the schedule of events.
Nick and Bonnie, call me. We'll go for a bike ride.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys, have a good day, and I'll see you guys next at our next meeting, or hopefully on June 15th. Will you be sending out the information via email?
I will. Yes, I will.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, Gwen, this is Melanie. Just a quick question before we start to talk about Mayfair. Since Diana is in an airplane over to Singapore, I'm the volunteer leader for the Youth Bike Summit. So I have all the information. When I get back home, is it okay if I just send it to you and I'll copy Diana so that she's aware I sent it?
Yes, and then I could just
It's
send
like a link of volunteer opportunities and a little like a flyer on volunteering, donating bikes or loaning bikes.
Yes, I think she just didn't have time. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, no worries. I just trying to take something off her plate. So there's one less thing to do in Singapore.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, I'll just email it to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, so I guess the important thing to go over is the schedule. So we will be setting up on Friday. We'll set up early so that it'll be all in place for Ernie and for Lynn, because at 4 o'clock we'll be doing your mom's dinner. So then we'll come back to Mayfair on Friday after we get mom's dinner. So we have all kinds of things. We have a game to play. We have sign-up sheets. We have plenty of things to have on the table. We have table coverings. We have brochures from our club. We have brochures from Allentown. I have everybody's badge except for Gail. Gail, you must have your badge because it's not in the box. So I'm going to have a blue bag. Here's our blue bag, which will have the badges inside. And if the Allentown people don't have their badge, what I have for them is a lanyard that has a Rotary symbol on it, and they can write their names. So we have pens and that type of thing and badges. There's scissors, there's tape, pens, and then we have push pins. Okay, we have sealing tape if you want to hang anything up. As I said, we have a sign-up chart. So if people want to learn more about Rotary, we have that. And that worked pretty well at the conference. We have flags. And as I said, we have lots of decorations. We have the Rotary banner, we have tablecloths. We have Canva cards. We have, as I said, brochures, easels. We have the youth services poster. So we have that. We have the game. Okay, which we have an easel for, and it's just a simple thing. We tried it out the other day. Helen tried it, and you just pop these little balls onto the backdrop. And we have fruit. You want to hold the fruit thing up? We have the fruits for the winners, little fruit things. We have books. We have the night before kindergarten, and we have dictionaries. So we have things for the kids. What else? What have I forgotten?
Pretty much everything.
I think that's it. It should be pretty smooth. Here's the Allentown brochures. There's a two-sided thing. I have a sheet that I sent out to everybody, which talks about the Impact Club. So if you don't know about the Impact Club, the information is there. So that's for the setup.
Tent.
We have the tent. Yeah. I think I sent everybody the directions for where you park. Let me make sure I did that right. Oh, everybody should print out a vendor parking pass too. Make sure you have a vendor parking pass in your windshield. So it looks like the parking is going to be pretty tight. What else?
Where do you enter? Where do you enter? I don't even know.
Enter the regular place where you normally do, and then there will be people there to guide you to the vendor parking.
For the college?
Yeah.
Okay.
The vendor parking is really behind the building that we meet in at the Tompkins. So that's where the vendor parking, I think it's F and G. Yeah, all vendors will have reserved parking lots in F and G, and that's on the map. The best thing to do is come in the regular way that we come in from Cedar Crest Boulevard, and there will be people there to direct you. Let's see what else we have here.
Is our table going to be, our tent easy to find?
We don't know. We don't know where we're going to be. So as soon as we do everything on Friday, I'm going to send a picture of where we are. So I'll send you all a picture so that you know where we will be. We do not have the map yet. So as soon as I get more information, I'll forward it to you, but I'll try to describe it to you. So.
And you sent the parking pass already? Is that right?
Yes, that's it. That's included.
To go look for it.
That
Okay.
one document. If you don't have it, let me know.
Yeah, could you resend it? I don't think I have something from May 20th. Did you send anything else?
Whatever the first one was that I sent you, let's see.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
I
Maybe
think
I'll
the
look.
first one. Yeah, it's May 20th.
That, I don't think there's a parking pass included in that though.
Okay, well, I'll go back and send you the one. Let me write that down. Resend parking pass.
Yeah, send it to me too, please.
Sure. Maybe that didn't come through on the email. So Friday is Ernie and Len. And then Saturday, we'll be back in the morning to make sure everything is restocked. And Saturday noon to 5 is Barb and Jeff. And then Saturday afternoon, 5 to 8 is Linda Friedman and Bill, if you're able. And then we'll come back again after 5 o'clock.
Right.
So we'll do the evening Saturday. And then again, we'll check in on Sunday morning, make sure everybody has what they need. Sunday noon to 5 is Sue and John. And I think, Gail, you said that was a possibility for you.
Yeah.
And then Helen and Michelle are Sunday also, 5 to 10. And then we'll come back after the dinner service and be back there with Rolf. So we'll finish off on Sunday night. So I
Do
think
you
it's.
want any of these postcards?
We have some of them too. Yes, you can bring yours when you come on Sunday because you may be out of them by then.
And do we have our little business cards as well? The
Yeah.
ones that Peter had done last year?
I don't have them, but I have the Canva cards. So I have these. I have.
Do you want me to bring the other blue ones?
Yes, I do not have a stock of them.
And what about the 8.5 by 11? I think you have a case of those.
I'll show you what I have.
It's the ones I opened yesterday.
I have this.
Yeah, you have all those. Okay.
And that. I have Stemye. I have, if people want to donate to Stemye or donate to Allentown West, we have forms for that. So
On the back of this,
Uh-huh.
we left a space so that it's backwards right now, but it just says, to learn more, visit your local Rotary Club. We can put like a QR code or this is supposed to be customizable for each club. Do you want me to put a sticker on here with a QR code or?
yeah, go ahead and do that.
Right? Yeah,
What I should have mentioned too is we have signs. We have lots of signs.
and you're okay with the holders? You have sign holders? Because I have 2 of those. They're on loan right now, but they may be back in time if you want them.
We have plenty of easels. We have plenty of signs. We have 2 huge ones from Rosario. They're out in our garage right now. So once we get there and we see the lay of the land, that'll help us make some more decisions.
Okay.
As to where we are. And again, I'll send you a picture after I get everything arranged. I think that'll be the best way rather than trying to describe it. So I owe everybody the parking directions and also the parking pass and another map. I'll detach that from the email and send it to you. So that's probably the best way. So, and we're always available if you have a question.
Okay.
Anything you want to add? I think it's going to be a great event. The weather looks great.
That's good.
So
this is indoors or outdoors?
it's outdoors.
It is outdoors.
It's
Okay.
outdoors, yes. As far as I know, it's outdoor. The only ones who are indoors are some of the artists.
Okay.
So I think everybody else is outside, including the music and the food. Apparently there's going to be food trucks and lots of other, there's a great big area where they have entertainment for kids. So I'm hoping that we'll be near that.
So the signage stuff that you have is heavy duty stuff then? Yeah, because the stuff that I have is more for indoor use.
Yeah.
The A-frame would be okay, but the other one would probably just blow over.
Yeah.
If you go on the website, it tells you all the food trucks they're having and all the different
Yeah.
places being represented. So go to the website for Mayfair.
Okay.
I did that yesterday. It was very informative.
Yes, it is. It tells you the times for the different groups. Yeah, and the selection of artists and the selection of food trucks. Yeah.
And all the great music we're going to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not.
Absolutely. So hopefully we're not right next to the music. That's, I know the VIP tent is right next to the stage where they're going to have the music. So that should be interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for volunteering for this. I think it's going to be a worthwhile event for us. And we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks for planning it, Gwen.
Okay. We'll see you all on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Great.
Right?
Take care, everyone.
Okay.
You start processing.